What if I told you that a single wrong choice, one person you let through the gates of your life, could lead you to the funeral of your own potential? Quietly, invisibly, but irreversibly. Most won't even realize what happened until it's too late. But there was someone who knew this secret for centuries, Machiavelli, and today we'll uncover his nearly forbidden lessons. Because that wrong person can become the spark capable of burning everything you've built to the ground. Are you ready to learn how to recognize this threat before it destroys you? History has no sympathy for those who make the wrong choice. No applause, no mercy, only a slow, irreversible collapse. And by the time most people realize what they've done, they're already standing at the funeral of their own potential. Not because they were weak, but because they let the wrong person through the gates of their life, not noticing that this person held the spark that could incinerate everything to ashes. No one will warn you, loved ones won't, friends can't. And society? Society profits from this blindness. But Machiavelli knew, he knew that the downfall of great people was rarely an accident. Almost always, it was a choice. Reckless, often seductive, sometimes even beautiful. While modern culture feeds us illusions about unconditional love, loyalty until death, and blind devotion, Machiavelli offered something far more useful, reality. He saw the world without embellishment, knowing that human nature is a constant and only a few are able to see the true motives behind the mask of charm. So how do you distinguish real gold from a skillful counterfeit? One capable of destroying everything you hold dear? Is it even possible to protect yourself from a fatal mistake when the stakes are so high? People judge more by what they see than by what they can feel, he wrote. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Most people are guided by appearances. But a wise person? They pierce the illusion. They see beyond makeup, curves, the charm of social masks. They study behavior, values, discipline. Not when someone is playing to the crowd, but when they think no one is watching. That is the ultimate truth. How many times have we seen the brightest talents and the most promising projects fade away beside someone who, like a skilled vampire, drained their energy, time, and resources, disguising it as care or love? I myself once almost fell into such a trap when the charm of one person blinded me to all the red flags my inner voice desperately tried to shout. Only cold analysis and Machiavelli's lessons helped me avoid disaster. Let me give you the first brutal law. There are only two types of influence from someone close to you, constructive or destructive. That's it. No maybe, no they're working on themselves, no it's complicated. The person next to you either multiplies your life or drains it, slowly, invisibly, cleanly. Here's the bitter truth. Most destructive people have mastered the art of seeming like a blessing while living as skilled manipulators. They smile sweetly while poisoning your focus. They praise your ambitions while leading you off your path. And you, if you're not the master of your life, you'll call it love. This isn't about hate, it's about strategy. Because if you don't choose with a cold mind, you'll bleed out, calling it loyalty. Machiavelli warned, he who deceives will always find someone who allows himself to be deceived. A person who chooses their partner based only on surface charm has already signed their own surrender. They just haven't felt the consequences yet. The greatest danger isn't the other person, it's your inability to recognize the truth. External attractiveness blinds the undisciplined, and in a world that worships appearances while ignoring substance, no wonder most fall to what looks right while overlooking what is right. But Machiavelli didn't write for romantics, he wrote for rulers. And a ruler never lets the gates of his kingdom be breached by emotion disguised as opportunity. Think how often we hear stories of brilliant careers collapsing overnight because of personal drama, or strong-willed people becoming shadows of themselves under the influence of the wrong partner. That's no coincidence. Machiavelli would say it's the predictable outcome of blindness, of refusing to see reality behind the veil of emotions. I've seen it myself. A close friend, a man of enormous potential, gradually lost his edge in a relationship where all his energy went into endless arguments and attempts to please, instead of building. In the end, missed opportunities and bitter disappointment. So what invisible threads stretch from one person to another, capable of lifting us up or tearing us down? And is there a universal compass to detect the true nature of those we let too close? Destructive influence doesn't need to shout. It only needs to distract you from your goals, your path, your inner code. It extinguishes your fire, forcing you to explain it. It erodes your discipline, calling it rigidity. And before you know it, you've traded your throne for someone else's comfort. The wise see the illusion for what it is, emotional weapons disguised as compliments and false support. And when they look at a potential partner, they don't ask, are they attractive? They ask, can this person stand beside my vision without trying to control or distort it? That is the test. Most people don't ask this question until everything they built is already in ruins. Here's the next law. Never choose someone who doesn't respect your direction, your inner strength, and the authority of your decisions, no matter how sweetly they talk when they need something, no matter how dazzling they look. If this person competes with your leadership in your own life instead of complementing it, walk away. If they challenge your direction without wisdom or constructive input, walk away. If they see your strength as a threat instead of a refuge, that's not your person. That's a storm disguised as sunlight. And again, Machiavelli comes to mind, who understood power like no one else. He knew that those who cannot hold on to it become slaves to the very forces they once tried to control. Do you think you can handle someone else's drama? That you can bargain for respect? That love will fix it? No, it won't. Because the moment you choose such a person, they'll seize the power you gave away, dressed in velvet words like compromise, understanding, partnership. Machiavelli knew what most modern people have forgotten. It is far safer to inspire respect through strength of spirit and clarity of intent than blind attachment if you cannot have both. And don't misunderstand, this isn't about cruelty, but about deep, genuine respect. A person who cannot win respect from their partner will never hold their true loyalty. A close partner will test your boundaries, looking for your backbone. If they don't find it, they will despise you for it. Such a person won't leave. They'll stay just long enough to devalue and drain you. And when they're done, they'll whisper, "You've changed." No, you collapsed. And they simply watched, maybe even with quiet satisfaction at their power over you. This is the cruel truth. But as Machiavelli said, better to know it and act than to remain in sweet but fatal illusions. I've seen it myself. When you clearly define your boundaries and show inner strength, people either respect you as you are, or they filter themselves out, making space for those truly capable of walking beside you instead of dragging you down. But how do you recognize these subtle signals of destruction when they're so skillfully hidden? And what do you do if realization comes too late, when the mechanism of self-destruction is already in motion? Many have been taught to believe that true strength must always be soft, that leadership must always be democratic, that compromise, especially in relationships, is the mark of maturity. But the genius strategist Niccolo Machiavelli warned of an unyielding law. When power is diluted, it disappears. The very moment a person allows their inner authority, their life's direction, to be challenged, they have already surrendered. The other may smile, nod, but inside, doubt and their strength will take root. And once a partner feels that your backbone bends for temporary comfort, the desire to stand beside you evaporates. Because subconsciously, everyone seeks stability in someone who cannot be moved from their chosen path. This isn't a call to cruelty. It's a call to clarity. Clarity in expectations, in vision, in boundaries. If tears, temptation, or clever arguments can make you abandon your discipline and principles, that's not partnership. That's a game where one becomes the project, the puppet, the temporary shelter, until someone truly unshakable appears. True loyalty is not born from blind love. It belongs only to those who cannot be manipulated. And here, Machiavelli, as always, hits the mark. The erosion of authority is the slow death of self-respect, and with it, the respect of others. I've seen it with my own eyes. Talented people, chasing harmony through endless concessions, losing not only their partner's respect, but their own identity, becoming pale shadows of their ambitions. Once, I advised an entrepreneur whose company was falling apart. The reason? In his personal life, he had allowed his boundaries to dissolve so completely that this pattern carried over into his business, where his decisions were constantly challenged and his authority was worth nothing.